the middle of the field. That is going to do it. 12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions.
And now an opportunity with his foot to win MLS Cup for Seattle, which he has done. The Seattle Sounders have done it. MLS Cup winners in 2016.
Get out the rye bread and the mustard this time, Grandma. It is a grand salami, and the Mariners lead it 10-6. I don't believe it.
This is Talk Interference Sports.
To give you the Seattle Kraken.
What's going on, guys? We just got done with the interview with Ernesto Lacoya, the kicker from the Seattle Dragons. And now I'm bringing on super fan Big Low. Welcome to the show, Big Low. How's it going?
Nick, come on, man. After an intro like that, I couldn't be doing any better. I mean, man, if that doesn't get you hyped up for a big Super Seahawks weekend, what will?
It is Blue Friday, right? And what
Oh,
better way that I can celebrate than talking with Seattle's biggest fan, dude. I'm super excited about this.
It's pretty cool, man. I'm excited to be on the show, man. We tried connecting, but whew.
So many reschedules, but we made it happen. And I'm so glad that we're here finally. I drew a lot of inspiration from watching Big Sports Down Low, dude. I'm a huge fan of that. Well, we will talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But seriously, first and foremost, I want to thank you for all that you've done in the Seattle area. It is an honor to have you here. Oh, I lost you. I lost you.
I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, there you go. Your voice is back. Awesome. There you go. Okay. So I want to start by saying I want to talk to you a little bit about your story for the people that don't know, and then we can talk a little bit about some sports if you got time for that.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I want to know about the action figure real quick, man. Just I got to know about the action figure. How did that happen? Where did that come from? How'd that go down?
Well, there's a local store here called Archie McPhee's, and they've got all kinds of off-the-wall toys, trinkets, what have you. And they did a big story on me in the Seattle Times in 2005. Mark Paulo, the owner of Accoutrements, who is also the owner of Archie McPhee's, said, I want that guy to be an action figure. So got a hold of me and said, is there any way we can make an action figure out of you? And I was like, do I get paid? And he said, yep. I said, where do I sign? That was pretty much it. Did a little digitizing and had some fun doing it.
That's so awesome. So you're such a huge fan of Seattle area that you got an action figure. Does that come into tail with you being a Seattle fan since day one? Were you coming out being I'm Seattle all the way?
Well, when I was a little kid, I played soccer. That was my first sport that I played, and the Sounders came out to a couple of our practices, and to meet those guys and see their energy and their drive and their love for the sports. Back then, it wasn't about the almighty dollar. It was about love of the game. And so to meet guys like that, was a big inspiration and a big cause of me loving sports and wanting to be there and cheer for it or play. So I played sports my whole young life, and Well, it just kind of turned into being a big sports fan. Once I started going to all the big games and stuff, just had a blast. So it's been a blessing, been a big, big blessing.
That's awesome. So it's said online in many places that you're the one that came up with the defense sign, right?
Nobody had one before me and my best friend.
Where did you come up with the idea for that? And then to caveat off of that, before we get into that, where did the C fence come in? Because you coined that phrase too, right?
Well, you gotta start the defense before you get to the C fence. So me and my best friend walking home from school when we were kids, about 18 years old, and I knew that I had tickets for an upcoming game with my aunt, and so she ended up giving them both to us. But so I took Scotty. We were walking by a drugstore that's right by our house, and the D off the drugs was laying next to this fence, and I went defense. And Scotty's like, that'd be a cool sign. So we just kind of like looked at each other like, yeah, that would be cool, because the crowd chants defense. And we did it. We put it together, and it just the camera dudes came up and was like, what's the fence and the D all about? So we said defense, and man, they were all over us that whole game. We were playing the Raiders, and friends of mine were coming up to me, dude, you were on TV. And so it just, after a little while, I started bringing the sign religiously and going to games religiously, and started being a season ticket holder. And it's like it's evolved and evolved. And in 2001, we went to a new stadium, needed something new. Everybody had a defense guy. So you're looking at all these defenses in other stadiums and thinking, man, what do? I got to do something different. So my buddy Charlie and I were BSing one day, and he said, hey, what about C-fence? I said, well, what's so good about that? And so we started thinking it over, him and Han. I thought, well, yeah, I mean, that is kind of true. Us as a crowd, we are the C-fence. You know, our defense is on the field, our C-fence is in the stands, and there's nothing more powerful than the C. So you look at it that way and you think, wow, the wave was pretty much started here. So we are the C. And it just kind of stuck, and people started liking the story and liking the idea. And well, I've been smacking that sucker together for about 18 years now.
Yeah, man. And that really actually ties it all in together really well. Oh, there we go. That ties it all in together really well. That's really fantastic, man. I like that.
It's been a lot of fun, a lot of years of, you know, picture taking with people and people being inspired by it. I've seen other people make C-fence signs of their own. So it's definitely an honor, definitely an honor.
You being such a huge sports fan, what was the first sporting event that you remember that was professional that you went to?
74 Sounders match.
Okay.
That was pretty much the first thing, because the Sounders were really nice and gave us some cool tickets. And but my big event was the opening game in the Kingdome with the New York Cosmos and the Seattle Sounders in 76. And, you know, I got Pele's autograph on a soccer ball. And it's amazing all the things that I've gotten to do throughout sports life. So that was one of the true blessings.
Well, you brought up the Kingdome, and I've done my research on you. You called yourself a Kingdome kid in a few articles, right?
Absolutely.
The Kingdome has been since long time been standing, right? It's no longer with us. What was your fondest memory of being in the Kingdome?
Wow. Oh boy, there's a lot of them. I mean, how can you not love that run of Bo Jackson's? You know, when he ran over Brian Bosworth, that was amazing. Seahawks comeback game against the Houston Oilers. We were down, I think, three scores, like 18 points, and we scored 2 quick scores. We did an onside kick, got the ball back and scored again, and then all of a sudden they were going to kick the ball. It was either a punt or a field goal. I don't remember which, but Michael McCrary blocked it, and picked it up, or got the pitch from McCrary and took that thing all the way to the house, and we won that game. It was an amazing game. But, you know, Steve Largent's record breakers, Man,
Man.
so many memories there. Gaylord Perry pitching, Nolan Ryan pitching. There's Rod Carew. Seeing Rod Carew play as a kid, that was like one of my Pete Rose, 79 All-Star game. There's been a lot of stuff in that place. Sonics game. Sonics game when we had Detlef Schrempf. He first came to the team. He's on the free throw line, dribbles the ball once, twice, and I yelled out, "Who's the white guy?" And the whole place erupted in laughter. He dropped the ball. That place was so much fun. I really want to see it gone, torn down. I would have loved to see them paint it or just, redo the inside, anything to keep that concrete crypt, because it was a lot of fun. It was definitely the dome away from home.
I unfortunately never got to step foot in there, but
a kid, man.
Yeah. I can live through your memories.
Hey, that'll work. Call anytime.
So I actually got Jason Reed on the show a while back. I'm sure you're very familiar with who Jason Reed is, right?
Yeah, Sonic Skate, baby.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, because you got to be a part of that. What was that like to be a part of Sonic Skate? And today, what does it mean for Bring Back Our Sonics to you?
Their video was exceptional. Why it hasn't gotten more exposure or more love, why we don't have a Sonics team back yet. The guys at Sonic Skate, to include me in that was such an honor. And, there was so many other people that I think were just as big of fans, if not bigger than I was. And, for them to include me, it was really, really neat. Very, very well done show that they did. I mean, that I've probably gone through 2-3 discs watching it so many times. And it's just, the guys are just amazing. They did a great job.
You were heavily invested in the Supersonics. I mean, there's videos of where Nate McMillan's talking about how you are so close with him. How do you see
Nate
that?
had a real good relationship.
So he was doing nothing but praising you. So, I mean, you got really close ties with the Sonics. How do you see the Sonics coming back?
I used to see it going to happen in a quicker fashion than it has. I gave it 5 to 7 years, but even now I'm looking 5 or 6 more years. It's a harsh reality, but I think COVID slowed the process. Chris Hansen invested a lot of money in a lot of land down there in the Soto area. For the city council to just shun him the way they did, it's sad, because he's a great guy, had a great dream, and I really hope that he keeps that dream alive, and eventually we do watch the Sonics down in the Soto area, because if we had a trio of arenas down there, the Safeco, CenturyLink,
beautiful,
T-Mobile Park, CenturyLink, and whatever they call the new arena. It's, man.
I'm still not used to calling it T-Mobile Stadium either.
T-Mobile Pink.
So in one of the videos that I was talking about that you had ties with the Sonics so much, and we were talking about Nate McMillan. In that same video, you were at the WNBA's championship. What was it like for you to see the WNBA's first championship through Seattle?
Wow. Words can't describe it. The way that team treated me back in the days was truly, truly phenomenal. I got so many privileges just from being a big fan of theirs. And, after that championship game, I got my own bottle of champagne. I got to go to the after party with the girls, hug the trophy, kiss the trophy. I mean, to have an honor and a privilege like that words can't describe it. It's something that you dream of. When you're a kid, you want to see a championship for your teams, and you want that World Series ring for the Mariners, and that trophy that's so incredibly intense looking, and you want that Lombardi trophy for the Hawks. And now I've gotten to kiss 2 of those trophies, so it's beautiful.
That's phenomenal. That's so cool, man. So You're clearly spent a lot of time in the Key Arena, and they recently took the key off the top of it. And they've renamed it the Kledge Plymouth Arena. What are your thoughts on the Kledge Plymouth Arena?
Well, it's an interesting name.
Very Seattle, isn't it?
What do you say? I mean, it's just what Seattle's become, man. We're all about climate and what it's doing. So it's a neat name. It's a neat name. It's better than the crack house.
Yeah, that brings me to my next question. Are you invested in the Seattle Kraken at all? What do you think of the name? And have you watched much NHL in your lifetime?
Love the name. As far as invested, I got a couple buddies that already invested lots of their dollars, and they've already said, dude, if you don't have tickets for opening night, got you handled. So I know I'll be in the house opening night, which is a blessing. And as far as season tickets for it, you got season tickets for the Seahawks, you got season tickets for Sounders, Mariners, Seawolves, the Mist, the Storm once in a while. It's a lot of games. So I'll just go to as many of those games as people bless me with a ticket for, because it's just, it's costly. So you got to watch your trips to the ball games.
I totally hear that, man. So me personally, I was very invested in the Seattle Dragons. I got to cover them, through my podcast. I got to go through to their practices and go to the games and be able to beat right for it. I wanted to know what your thoughts on the Seattle Dragons were and how the XFL had, abruptly shut down. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, the XFL project is not dead. That's the best part. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his ex teamed up, bought the league, and we don't know what's going on in the background right now, but it's going to be back. The game, I thought, was outstanding. It was fun. It was fast-paced, kept you engaged. The players were talkative. They're not worried about that almighty dollar, so they want the fans, and they love the fans, so they actually take the time with the fans. And it was a perfect product for families. Very affordable. It was nice to see, like, friends of mine that have four and five kids, and they're all at the games, and they can afford to, because it's way cheaper than going to professional big time. And it's just sad what sports has become, all about how much we can make. I want to be the highest paid player. And, that makes it difficult sometimes to sit there and cheer when all your friends are so negative towards it, because they're all like, well, they're overpaid bunch of babies. And so you try and stick up for them, but then you see the reality of it, and you just kind of wonder what direction it's going. But the XFL, I think they had a fine product. It's going to be fun when the Dragons come back. I'm really, really excited that they're doing what they're doing.
I'm super excited for it too. The XFL was so it was a breath of fresh air, in my opinion. There's a lot going on in the NFL, and the XFL was a breath of fresh air. So I'm really looking forward to the XFL 2.1 or 3.0, whatever we're gonna call it.
We'll take.
So you'd mentioned that you had rugby season tickets, and I wanted to ask you about what you thought about the Seawolves as well. Let's move right along to the rugby back-to-back champions, Seattle Seawolves. How many of those games have you gone to? It's electric, and I love it.
It is such a fun game. It's so fast-paced. And when I was a kid, Aussie Rules football was always on our TV, because I just love the dudes in the white jackets. And so it's always been a sport that I kept my eye on, but I never thought would really go big here in the States. And it's finally catching on. It's so entertaining. Once again, it's affordable for families. And I like that, because, then you get to see the kids and their smiling faces, and, moms and dads having a great time. And that's what sports is supposed to be. It's the camaraderie. It's the getting together with your brotherhood and your sisterhood, and just having a blast and forgetting about the problems in the world. So Seawolves, back-to-back championships. Who knows what would have happened this year, but it's just it was a really nice thing to have here in the city, and I can't wait till they come back. Me and Eric Deschelle have become really good buddies, and he
you went to a Seahawks game with him, right?
Oh yeah, he's a big 49er fan, so he was all worried because he wanted to wear his jersey, and I said that's fine, man, but he didn't. He wore Seahawks gear, so I thought that was pretty classy of him.
That's awesome. So I know for a fact, like I just know you've been to uncountable numbers of Seahawks games, and it would be really hard to come up with one specific special moment. But could you tell me maybe just a highlight of some of the most memorable Seahawks moments that you got to be a part of? This could be on the field or off the field.
Oh man, come on now. Nothing compares to getting a call from the people that run the Greater Trinity Academy golf tournament and them saying Kenny Easley wants you to be a celebrity at a golf tournament. And so I had the honor last year of getting called up on stage with NFL legends like Ed Too Tall Jones, Tony Brothers, one of the NBA officials. Steve Largent, all the former Hawks that, Walter Jones is there. And all these guys, most of them, for the most part, know who the heck I am. And when Kenny says, before tonight, I didn't know this man was a celebrity. But it's been brought to my attention that he's more than a celebrity. So he's like, Big Lo, get your big ass up here. Well, wait a minute, not so big ass. You lost a lot of weight. And to hear Kenny those words, man, there's nothing more priceless than a Hall of Famer like Mr. Kenny Easley having you come up and be with a bunch of dudes that are your idols. So what an honor and a blessing that was. Definitely.
That's
top.
amazing.
As far as game moment, nothing compared to Jordan Babineau tackling Tony Romo. that was just one of those heart tugger games where you're like, you're gonna win, and then all of a sudden, oh no, it's coming down to this. Oh man. And then all of a sudden the ball squirts loose. You see Tony run, pick it up, run. Babs is gonna get him. He got him. And everybody was nuts. I mean, it's just what an incredible game to be at. So
crucial playoff game. I love that.
There's the top two.
I love it. So let's move right on from the Seahawks to the Mariners here real quick. I'm trying to blow through this and not eat up so much of your time here real quick, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this reimagining that the Mariners are doing right now. And recently they've been playing pretty well. What are your thoughts on the Mariners currently?
I like the youth. I like the young team. I like their fever for the game. There's a real talented group put together right now, and this team can show us a lot of good things. They just have to stay focused. Last night they lost their focus and it hurt us, and tonight Kikuchi's kind of struggling. So one of those games where you're kind of frustrated to see a deficit in the first inning, but this team's got a lot of gumption and they've got a lot of fight. So it's long from over because it was just the first inning before I got on with you. And I like watching this team. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of spunk, but again, this is one of those weird years where we'll probably end up winning the World Series with no fans in the stand.
Wouldn't that be wild? Oh man.
Mask up, Washington.
Okay, well, I had mentioned it earlier that I'd drawn a lot of.
Say hi,
oh,
Mouse.
Hey, Kitty. Hello.
I had to put Mouse on just because she's cute.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. So we had mentioned it earlier. Big sports down low. I drew a lot of inspiration from that, man.
I was that though. It's Big Sports Low Down.
Low down. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're close. You got the ballpark.
I drew some inspiration off of that when I was coming up with the concept of structuring some of this, but I was late to the party. I was late to the party. I saw it after its time, but I think it was ahead of its time, and I thought it was fantastic. Have you thought about doing any kinds of no lowdown? Okay, sorry. Have you thought about doing any podcasts in recent days, or are those days behind you now?
Oh no, definitely not behind me. The big part right now is getting to the eye surgeon so I can maybe get my eye corrected, and then the foot thing. It's in one of those crow boots right now, and it's not fun adding 20 pounds to your leg to carry around. So it's a heavy boot, and it's really weird. You want to focus on your health for a bit before you get back to normalcy, kind of like what's going on in the world right now. So it's something you got to be patient with. And I've wanted to do a podcast or another show, trying to get a hold of some of the old guys that I had doing editing and stuff for me when I had the show. And if Zan's available, then we'll make it happen, because the guy is so talented when it comes to production. So it'd be nice to do the show again, bring it back as the Seattle Sports Lowdown, and just have fun.
Yeah, the lowdown. I can't believe I messed that up. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, it happened. It happened.
The studio looked amazing. I loved how that looked. How much input did you have on that?
Pretty much all of it. I had a graphic designer of mine, my buddy Tony. He's just phenomenal with a computer, and he did all the green screen graphics. Oh boy, he threw one heck of a studio together, put our advertising slots up there, and it just, everything went perfectly. And then to have the production crew that we had, man, it was a lot of fun to do. Unfortunately, the owner, the money man, Alan, his wife, had an opportunity to do, she was a clairvoyant, and so she had an opportunity to go over to India and make millions of dollars, and that's where they're at. So unfortunate, but part of life.
You had some amazing guests on there. I was curious, was that just because of your own connections, or did you guys have to really dig deep to find some of those guys?
That was just phone calls to buddies of mine that, Big Low, you ever want me on the show, hit me up. So
that's
it was
great.
Definitely to get Sean Kemp and Gary Payton on the same show. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you had Sonic's guy sitting right there too, man. That was great.
Oh, my buddy Chris.
I've been trying to get a hold of him and try to get him on here myself.
I'll reach out to him for you, man.
That'd be cool.
Definitely.
So I'm sure you have a huge collection of sports memorabilia. I'm just autographs on autographs. I collect myself, so I was curious what your favorite one that you have is.
I got a glove signed by O.J. Simpson.
Wow. Okay. Why a glove?
It's like the glove and everything. Yeah.
No
Met him at a golf event and told a story about how me and my best friend were out in the front yard grabbing weeds out of the yard, and all of a sudden he found this glove and he said, Hey, Lauren, how do you tell it's springtime in the Northwest? I said, I don't know. He picks up this glove and shows it, says, Furman's been planting gloves. So it just cracked. So when I told that one to OJ, he's like, you a fan? And I said, absolutely. I said, man, I wish I would have been old enough to be one of your blockers. He's like, you're a big boy. And so we just chit-chatted for a little bit and made him my friend. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, would you sign a few things for us? And he said, sure. So he signed a football for me and a lithograph. And I said, hey, Juice, you do me a favor? He's like, what's that, big fella? I said, would you sign the glove? And I held it up and showed it to him. And he's like, you brought it with you? I said, yeah. He's like, I wouldn't do this for anybody else on this planet. Give me that thing, man. He signed it.
Wow.
So, kind of a unique piece. It's one that I don't brag about that often or show off because, it's just kind of an intimate moment with the guy.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool of him to sign that thing. So
that's
Nate
cool.
McMillan, Kobe Bryant's last game in Key Arena shoes. I've got
Wow.
I got 3 pairs from Kobe throughout his years, 2 jerseys from him. Trufant's Super Bowl jersey from Super Bowl 40, Hasselbeck's Super jersey from Super Bowl 40. They both wore a few of them so that they could give them to family members. And before the game, I asked both of them, I said, if I could get a jersey, and both of them gave me one. So it was definitely special.
That's amazing. I love that.
Among other things, there's a lot. So
Oh, I'm sure. And I can't imagine. Yeah. Wow, man.
Just a little bit.
So you've got a book.
Yeah, I got a book.
You've got a book, and it's called The C-Fence Story of the Seattle Superfan, right?
C-Fence, yep.
C-Fence. So, and it's actually on Amazon right here.
There it is. I've seen that book. I've read that book. It's
where did
a lot of fun. Definitely a fun project to be able to do.
Where'd you come up with the idea to do that?
Actually, a guy approached me and said, "You ever wanted to write a book?" And I said, "Well, I've got a bunch of stuff written down and a few pages on the computer, but I don't know how to put a book together." And I said, I've looked into it online and studied it a little bit, and I just, you got to have money to make money. And he said, "Well, what if I have the money?" And I said, "Then I've got the book." And so me and one of his editors sat down and talked a little bit. And after about 20 phone calls of an hour long apiece, me talking to him and telling him stories, we put the book together, and it was definitely a fun project. Just,
That's
the
cool.
memories you're like, "Oh wow, I forgot about this. Hey, what about this?" And it's just it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, I don't have any much more questions for you. Actually, I don't have any at all, but I'm sorry, say that again.
Ask me if I went to the airport today.
Did you go to the airport today?
I went to the airport today.
Why did you go to the airport today?
Seahawks left for ATL, baby. You got to be there.
Oh,
Come on,
I
man.
I didn't think about that. How was that?
Oh man, it's always cool. It's just, it makes you feel like a little kid inside. You just, Pete's face when he sees us out there, he's just smiling ear to ear, and John Schneider giving me the peace sign and thumbs up, and it's really cool because those guys just really dig that kind of stuff, and for them to see the support, I think it's going to send them off to Atlanta with good feelings. So I'm excited for them this weekend. I want to get that first win.
Do you think that they're going to pull it off this weekend? What are your thoughts on this one?
It's 19-0, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
19-0, baby. This year. No fans in the stands.
Right? Wouldn't that be wild?
Oh man. Now we'll be.
You're often at the tarmac during spring training, right?
Pardon me?
I say you're often at the tarmac during spring training, right?
What's the tarmac?
Isn't that the training facility that they're at?
Oh, VMAC?
VMAC, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We were talking about airports, and I said tarmac.
Hey,
I don't know. I'm sorry,
tarmac,
man.
Yeah. We were worried
VMAC.
about that tarmac. The buses didn't go the other end. Yeah, the training camp there's nothing like it. It's a lot of fun. It's with all the people that they let in now, it's not as intimate as it was years ago, back before Super Bowl, when they did training camp in Pullman or over that way, Cheney. It was amazing. It was you could talk to all the guys, but now it's tough just to get a few over for autographs for the kids, let alone the big kids. So it's become more of a show, and that's good because the guys need that. They want that that energy from the crowd, and it's fun for them. It's fun for the fans. The folks that don't get to do it, it's cool to bless them with tickets, because I've been there, so I don't have to go all the time. So I usually take one of my sets of tickets and take a few friends, and then the other 3 sets or 2 sets, whatever they give us these years. I mean, first it was 4 sets of tickets, then it was 3 sets of tickets last year. So it kind of changes, but it's cool to see people's eyes light up when they say, I get to go to training camp. So it's fun doing things like that.
I got a comment in here that says, does he collect pop or Funko Pops? Do you have any Funko Pops of sports guys?
I haven't gotten that kick yet. I'm more game used jerseys, game used shoes, game used helmets. The Funko Pops are really cool. I do have Brian Bosworth. I've got a Richard Sherman, and I got like the ones that they've given out at the Mariners games.
Right.
So it's just another, how can you collect all this stuff? There's too many things to collect. About 4 years ago when we won a Super Bowl, 6 years. God, it's been 5-6 years now. Whoa, it's time to win another one. Back then, anything that had a 12 on it or was green, you could sell. I mean, anything. It didn't matter what it was. You could take a clothespin, paint a 12 on it, and people would buy it. It was crazy. The craziness of things that were selling when we won the Super Bowl was everybody had to have everything. So there's a lot of people out there on Etsy that made a lot of money.
Right.
Oh.
Mike says, I got a Russell Wilson, a Gary, a Kemp, and a Boz.
Nice. I like that.
Good collection there. I like that. Well, Big Low.
Okay.
One
more thing.
Yeah.
It's 9/11. A lot of people kind of forgetting about that today. I just want to say thank you to all our first responders that are fighting these fires here in Washington right now. The ones all over the country. The whole West Coast is on fire. God bless those people, because without them, we wouldn't be here. And, it's crazy that people are wanting to defund the police. There are protectors. The firefighters, there are protectors. So it's 9/11. Everybody forget about our differences of opinions. Let's love each other again, because it's way more fun. Just support your sports teams and be good to each other. That's what life's about. So I just had to throw that 2 cents in.
Dude, and I'm so glad that you did. You nailed it, and you saved me from having to say it here at the end. So you nailed it.
Teamwork.
If I can,
teamwork.
if I could get you to hang on for just 1 second after I close this out, I just want to ask you something off camera. But
You got it.
Big Low, thank you so much. Absolutely, I appreciate it. Big Low, everybody, make sure you guys go check out his book. I'm going to get myself a copy here soon. I want to read it. It's right here. You can find it on Amazon. I'm Nick from Talking Interference Sports. And guys, please share and like this video. Share it wherever you can. Big Low, thanks so much. Talk to you guys next week.